Hey y'all, I just saw Zootopia 2 and here's my thoughts on it as a fan of the first film. Quick note about spoilers, this will be a mostly spoiler free review, however, I will kind of mention some events with no context. I won't give anything away and I'm confident that you can watch this video before watching the film. So, obviously, being a furry and all that, I quite like the original Zootopia. I think it's really the perfect movie in many ways, setting up two really great lead characters in Nick and Judy, having some really great themes, and just being an overall really creative and inventive film. I'm sorry to say that while I do like Zootopia 2 a lot, I don't think it lives up to the original for me. This film's biggest problem by far is that it does not evolve enough from the first film. In a lot of ways, this film feels like one of those legacy sequels, like maybe Star Wars Episode 7, where it's kind of just the exact same plot and all the main characters are old. This film doesn't fit that exactly. I mean, it only takes place a week after the first film, but it holds a real reverence for the first film that I think was not needed. This film references the first one so much, where all the old iconic lines and events are referenced or are cameos or whatever. It's just a hustle, sweetheart, and I'm just a dumb bunny are both referenced multiple times as a silly little remember this from the first film type of moment. The Mouse Godfather, Duke Weaselton, Nick Fox's baby, and Flash are also all here as cameos. I really hate the constant callbacks because instead of thinking up cool new ideas, it's just constantly bringing up the old ones. As I was watching this movie, I was thinking, if the third film were to do this, what would it call back from the second film? I can honestly say, I don't think that this film has any memorable moments or characters like the first one. An even bigger issue is how the story itself is essentially the exact same. The basic plot of this movie is Judy Hopps and Nick stumble across a huge conspiracy and need to help prove the innocence of a group of animals, this time the reptiles, while being chased by the ZPD. Sound familiar? It should, because this is the exact same plot as the first movie. Instead of predators, it's reptiles this time around, but otherwise, it's exactly the same. I actually think the mystery in this film is much weaker than the first one as well, because this film is just so damn predictable. The film focuses on the group finding a piece of paper, which is the most generic MacGuffin. It makes the film feel like a generic feel-good kids movie at times, which it is, I guess. The film even reuses the whole 24-hour thing before something happens, although it is much less of a factor in this film. Also, why does Judy need to prove herself again? Did she literally not just save the world like a week ago? Why does every single film have to be about Judy saving some group of animals? In the first film, Judy saves predators. This one, reptiles, and quick spoiler, but the next one will be about birds. I loved the themes of discrimination and prejudice of the first film, but why is this one trying to say that exact same thing again with little to no changes? I was literally thinking throughout my time watching, how racist is Zootopia? Did they really not learn their lesson from the first time around? I absolutely hate the reptile storyline, as it feels entirely derivative from the original film. Yet, I think I understand why they did it. See, this movie tries to add a lot of lore behind Zootopia and how it was made and all that. But why did we need this? The first film already did a really great job at setting up this huge city. I don't want to see any more big picture stuff added. I want to see the inner workings of this city like only a cop film can. I think the stuff they do add just does not fill the void for me either. The two new big characters, Gary the Snake and Nibbles, are fine. While I think they are both likable enough, I don't think that they are really good enough characters to replace the ones from the first film, like Chief Bogo or Clawhauser. I don't understand why they chose to essentially tell this same story again, but with different characters, instead of developing upon the first movie. So, believe it or not, Nick Wilde is my favorite character in this whole movie. Let's just say that I really like him and was excited to see more of him in this movie. Imagine my surprise when the co-lead of the film is really not that important to the movie and kind of just goes along with what's going on. Nick is so underutilized in this film, intentionally of course, and I actually think that they do a disservice to his character by regressing him to how he was at the start of the first film just a bit. Multiple times, Nick is described as an underworld figure, and it's like, did he not just save the world in the first movie a week ago? The whole first movie was him figuring out how to be a hero and help people, even though the world treated him poorly. Why are we going back to calling him a criminal and swindler when the first film was about that he's more than that? The film does try to do one thing with Nick, however, and it's one that I'm really mixed on. See, one of the major plot lines in this movie is Nick and Judy learning to be partners and work together. And I think that this is the perfect plotline for a second film. This directly carries over both character arcs from the first film, and I think that this could have carried the entire movie. Just look at scenes like the heart-to-heart on top of the winter wall towards the end. In this movie, however, it's little more than just a side plot, because obviously saving an entire species of animals is more important than relationship drama. And that's why I think this retread of the first film doesn't work so well, because it relegates important character development to the side. Like, they could have easily still done all the partner issue stuff with any case, and in fact, I think it would have worked better. Of course, Judy is willing to do whatever it takes to save an entire species of animals. If these two were investigating some kind of crime syndicate or something a little more lower stakes, it would have worked so much better. Judy is eager to prove herself, but Nick realizes that it's just not worth it. The entire central dilemma of the film could have been about that, developing the two characters more, but instead they decided to push it to the side for some reptiles. That's the thing about this movie though. It really is just more Zootopia, and honestly, I like that. Well, I wish they would have gone more onto the whole partner drama aspect. At least it was here. And like, yeah, the whole reptile stuff is pretty derivative of the first film and a lot more predictable, but that doesn't make it not entertaining. This film also has some really great moments between the two leads as well, like the ending and the aforementioned heart-to-heart. Because all of that, I think this is a good movie. This movie could have been so much better if they had decided to play it a little less safe. And yeah, I wish Nick was in it more, but like, I think in the end, this is a fine sequel. While at times it feels more like a low budget kind of Disney Plus thing, especially because of the writing, it's not bad at all. Maybe my expectations were just a bit too high for this film. Despite that, I recommend Zootopia 2, 7 out of 10.